All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special 50th edition of the Hideout. Crazy to think that for over a year we've been doing these episodes and we've gotten to episode 50. So, super stoked. We're also celebrating a very special anniversary this week, the 2-year anniversary of our Legionnaires collection. So, I'm super excited to talk a little bit more and maybe do a little bit more of a intro this time than we normally do, but I won't take too long because we're going to be joined by an awesome panel of guests that have been, very special to us, from all different walks of the metaverse and the art world and the gaming space. So we have a really great panel today that we're going to be talking about metaverse and gaming with. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Nick Frontera. I am one of the founders and the CEO of Apollo Entertainment, the company behind Satoshiverse and the Legions 2029 video game. I got my start back in Web3 back in 2017, so I've been doing this for a long time, I guess relative to the space, right? But before that, I was a lawyer in the entertainment industry, focused on different IP issues. So NFTs were a natural kind of evolution of my interest in that. So very fortunate to be able to have been a builder in this space now for a long time. For those of you who don't know about Satoshiverse, it started off as a blockchain themed comic superhero universe. We partnered up with the great Jose Delbo, who is a almost 90-year-old. He'll turn 90 in 2 weeks. But artist who worked for DC and Marvel for close to 70 years now, and has just became one of the more well-known comic artists in the NFT space in the last couple of years, and is now just enjoying kind of his old age and his cowboy comics, but played a pivotal role in the development of the Satoshiverse. For the last 2 years, we've been developing our Legions 2029 game. It is a fast-paced hybrid between a roguelike, a hack and slash, and some elements of RPG. So we like to say that we were inspired by games like Diablo for some of the progression, God of War for some of the combat, and games like Hades for some of the game loop. So if you want to check it out, it's a really unique concept. We are in our testnet alpha. The game is free to play. You just go to our website and you can download it. And we are getting ready very, very soon for our mainnet launch when things will actually count. So check out the pinned tweet. It's got all the info you're going to need for that. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to talk more about Satoshiverse as it applies and everything. But I really want to focus on our panel here. So we've got some awesome guests. What we're going to do is we're going to get into each guest's introduction, and so I'll call on you guys to start. Give us a quick introduction of yourselves, what you're building, any kind of events you've got coming up. Feel free to pin to the spaces, and you'll see the stuff at the top. I know, Violet, you've got some stuff we're going to pin for you, so when you do your introduction, we'll make sure to get that stuff up there. But yeah, if you guys have anything you want to let people know about, please feel free. This is the goal of the space, is to kind of lift all ships and have communities come together. So with that, let's start with Virtua. Can you give us a quick introduction and tell us about what you're building?
GM, everyone. Thank you so much to Toshiverse for putting the space together and having us here. And thanks to everyone down there that came out to listen and hang out with us. I hope you get a little knowledge or a little insight into some things going on in the space. But my name is Blue Collar Crypto on Twitter. Travis is my Web2 name, I guess you could say, and I'm with Virtua. We are a gamified metaverse. I'm doing a lot with gaming experiences, brand IPs, and really an entire ecosystem that we're building for different experiences and really directed towards that entertainment kind of sector in various ways. We've got an L1 blockchain that is soon to be released that we've been talking about recently. We have got gamers lounges where you can get in there and play various games with friends, display your in-game assets, your achievements, things of the sort, in kind of a 3D immersive space. And then we've also got a lot of really cool things we're doing with brand IP with brands such as Shelby and Jesse Lingard, Dynamite Comics, Paramount Pictures, Kevin Hart, and many others in a lot of cool ways. Really kind of trying to give NFTs a purpose and a real purpose to this Web3 gaming shift in industry we see taking place.
I love it. Well, really excited to have you guys in here, and we're going to get into some awesome questions that kind of go deeper into some of those things. But before we do that, why don't we head over to Omniverse? Can you give us a quick introduction?
Yeah, hey Nick, thanks for having me. Hello everybody. My name is Corey Hosack. I go by EngineeredYK on Telegram and Twitter here. My background is actually in engineering, so I've spent the last 15 years as an engineer. Recently got into the Web3 space back in 2019 timeframe. Since then, me and my partners at Omniverse have been really building a Web3 gaming and entertainment ecosystem, and more than just kind of like a single game or a single product, but really the full technology stack. So we have Apex Chain, which is our true zero gas layer one network, our game dashboard, which is really the single interface for game access and digital asset management. We obviously have content, so games. We have comic books, both developed from our own studio as well as from a number of third-party projects and partners. We have our software development kits, which really enables simple bridging of Web 2 apps and games to the world of Web 3. And then various DeFi tools that you really need for any crypto adjacent project, including swaps, marketplaces, that sort of thing. So one of the things that we started recognizing when we were first formed and kind of building our first game is that the Web3 gaming space is very disjointed, and we wanted to kind of solve that by developing this integrated ecosystem. So we've been developing our ecosystem for the last 18 months or so. We're now in the process of refining a few things, upscaling, hitting the marketing hard, onboarding additional like-minded projects onto our platform, and really our goal is not to compete with other developers, but really to create a value chain for us all. Ultimately, we would like our platform to resemble kind of a Web3 focused version of Steam. And we're really working to simplify the onboarding process so that we can capture that massive population of traditional Web 2 gamers, right? I think that's kind of the crypto element is one of the big obstacles that we see for onboarding the next wave of crypto users. So that's a big focus of ours. We have a lot of our systems live, and yeah, we'd be happy to have many of you come join our group and share with you what we've been working on.
Amazing. No, I love it. I think the thing that I've seen in the gaming space, the most innovation around, other than just some really cool games being developed and great content, is all this infrastructure really that's narrowed in on focusing on solving the biggest problems we have, whether it's, blockchain throughput or UX or UI, right? All the different things that have been kind of plaguing the blockchain gaming industry. All of a sudden we've got all these solutions, which is great because we knew it was going to take some time, but it's moving fast, and it's really great to see what you guys are doing, and I think that awesome to have you here. Can't wait to dive in further. Now let's go to a very special guest to me, a friend and the very talented artist representing here herself and Peyote Ugly. Let's turn it over to Violet.
Oh, thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. I hope you're okay, Nick, after the knee surgery. Hello to everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in. So my name is Violet, Violet Pollack-Jones, and that's my name across everywhere. Basically, I'm a traditional artist. My main medium is oil, and I'm a part of a bigger collective called Art House. It's arthouse_art on Twitter. And we consist of 5 artists. I see that Henny is here, Henrik Uldalen, myself, Santiago Pani, Daniel Martin, and Ivo Newport. And what we do is many projects together. Our collaborations are mostly in real life. And we go around the world and we dive into different stories from each country and we paint it. But what's the most interesting about the project Peyote Ugly that was born from our collaborations is that we started incorporating into our traditional art a lot of digital aspects of it. So we do 3D scanning, we do 3D animations, 2D animations, we create books, we use a lot of augmented reality. Artivive actually became our official sponsor, and they are very good at supporting us. And we also use a lot of virtual reality. So you name it, we have it. And we go around the world, and every year we create episode for Peyote Ugly, where we kind of explore and delve into mythologies from the place where we travel to. And this year we went to Norway. We are actually before our drop on 28th of November. So we are working very hard to finish it up. And we, this time, delved into Norse mythology. So the aspect is that we go into those places and we piss off the deity of particular mythology, and then we are hunted and we need to escape. So actually, thinking about it, it would be a brilliant script for a game. So we are open. If somebody wants to build Peyote Ugly game, we are open for suggestions. Thank you.
I love it, and I'm really excited for the drop coming up. It's going to be definitely one to pay attention to. There's some awesome art. I know you guys have a bunch of different pieces and different mechanisms, so I'm super excited to see how it turns out. I see Trevor also joined, so happy to have you in the audience there, Trevor. You know, for those of you who didn't see, we just released a really cool piece with Trevor. I won't say much more. You check it out on the Apollo Entertainment page, or the Toshiverse page, or Trevor's page. Very cool stuff. Got some big stuff planned. But Violet, so great to have you here. Can't wait for you to kind of represent the artist perspective on this panel. Let me get Spencer back up here, but we have one more guest, and that is let's see, we have Pixelinks here. Inder, how you doing? How's it going?
Hey, good, thanks. How are you?
Doing good.
Good. Yeah, great to be here. Yeah, I'm Inder, the CEO, co-founder of Pixelinks. It's a interactive music company I founded 2 years ago with 2 iconic DJs and musicians, Richie Horton and Deadmau5, as well as the management teams behind both artists. We came together really to build a new interactive music platform that would bring fans closer to the music experience in new ways. So we're building a platform called Chorus, which is live right now. You can go and check it out. And on Chorus, it's a really fun, easy way for people to make music with their favorite artists. You can basically go on the platform and remix sounds from a whole range of iconic musicians that we are bringing into the platform. Not only can you own their NFTs, but you can basically come and create new songs directly with your favorite artists' music, and then also get the commercial rights to release these songs as well and monetize them in new forms. Yeah, definitely check out the platform. We're really kind of focused on making music more immersive, more interactive, and looking at how we can bridge between gaming experiences and sort of more traditional music creation experiences. And yeah, the long-term vision is to, try grow the value of the music industry, make sure we can try get artists paid for their music, and ultimately push the way we experience music forward through interactivity and take it from, a passive experience to something that is much more active. But yeah, like I said, it's live right now, and yeah, would love any feedback and thoughts. Yeah, check it out.
Amazing. Well, I always get excited whenever I see something intersection of music, gaming, and Web3. That's right up my alley. It's something I've been a fan of a long time, and I think is much needed in the space. So awesome to see you guys innovating the way you have been. Big fan of Deadmau5 as well. So very cool. All right, so we've got we're having, I think Spencer's having a little bit of technical difficulties, so we're sorting that out. But before we move on to the questions, I did want to mention that all the guests here are here for a reason. So if you've been checking out the Twitter the last couple weeks, you will see that in kind of part of our launch that's coming up, we're going to be doing customizable free avatars using a play to mint mechanic. So what that's going to mean is you're going to get into the game when it launches, play for free. You're going to get into our avatar creator and you're going to customize that avatar. And then we've got 40 communities that we've partnered with that we'll be announcing over the next couple of weeks that are going to be having their logos and patches available as emblems, like a hero patch on those avatars. So you'll be able to actually customize your avatar with whatever colors and hairstyles and eyes and everything that you want, and then apply that patch. So kind of representing your community within the Legions 2029 game. Again, all the info is up in the pinned tweet, so definitely check it out. But that's all I'll say on that. But I just wanted to shout out that all these great projects have agreed to be part of our launch, and we couldn't be more grateful. Really, really excited to bring all these communities together. So let's see. Do we have Spencer? Are you able to hear me? Are you able to speak? If not, I can jump in on the questions and we can get you sorted. But are you hearing me? I'm going to take the no response as a still not working. So, all right. So we'll just jump in and then we'll try to get Spencer sorted. Okay, so let's start with the question for everyone. And with these, we like to start off with kind of thought-provoking questions. So feel free to jump in if you want to be organized and raise your hand, even better. But this will be a free-flowing conversation. For the first question we have, in what ways can Web3 gaming or blockchain technology in general be used as a tool for social change and awareness? So going a little bit deep with this one, take that as it, however it means to you, but I'm really excited. We have a lot of diverse viewpoints here. So what do you guys think? In what ways can Web3 gaming or blockchain technology in general be used as a tool for social change and awareness? Let's start with Violet.
I'm going to jump in straight away. Well, just basically, based on what we do with Peyote Ugly, it could be educational. It could be very educational. Gaming, something very interactive, is always more entertaining than just sitting with books. So why not cater to those who would prefer to learn this way and provide some entertainment on the way as well? Like basically with our Peyote Ugly, we are introducing the true mythologies and true stories, but we use tongue-in-cheek and humor with it, and we use entertaining animation. And we make it more accessible, but we are actually educating people on those forgotten myths and folklores. So I think that games could include that aspect as well. So I think it could be very much educational in the sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think education is probably one of my favorite untapped ways of using Web3 and having incentive systems, but also gaming. I think gaming for education is huge. I know I learned a lot about old mythology from games like Age of Empires, where you would play through campaigns and learn about the things that happened in the past. And that actually sparked an interest before I even got to school in learning more about it. So everything seemed a lot more relevant. So I couldn't agree more, both with gaming and Web3, that there's some huge opportunities for education. Let's head over to Virtua. And what do you guys think?
Yeah, no, definitely agree with that point. I'm a huge fan of gaming and education in a variety of ways, because I know myself and even one of my sons, he can get a lot more out of through a game than necessarily reading a book, and having that kind of experience sticks a little better as well. So huge point there. But, with blockchain and Web3 gaming, like I can think of like a million different ways it can be used for social change and awareness, but a few of them is like bringing ownership to this digital society we live in. The digital world is so important. Digital collectibles are so important. In-game assets are so important. All these things are so important to this, generation that I like to say is younger than me. I'm in my late 30s, and I see my kids just foaming at the mouth for digital assets much more than some of the other physical goods. So really kind of bringing ownership to some of those, creating a stronger sense of connection with your favorite brands, with your favorite games, with your favorite IPs, all those kind of things by having actual ownership. When you actually own something, you tend to feel a deeper sense of that kind of attachment in a lot of ways, as opposed to just playing the game. When you've got some actual ownership and some actual assets and some actual skin in that game, it creates that deeper kind of root. And then also even empowerment through gaming and such, and that can kind of touch on the education level as well. It doesn't have to no longer be just kind of entertainment, but it can be entertainment and unlock entire new experiences, rewards, satisfactions, different things through that gaming. So it kind of takes that whole gaming layer to another level when you start incorporating some of that Web3, some of that blockchain, some of that ownership in various ways.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, just to build off that a little bit, I think one of the things that, gets talked about a lot, but until we founded Satoshiverse and have really spent the last, 2, 3 years in a Discord with all these different people, I didn't realize the power, of the diversity of community that you can have in the Web3 space. So, you get into a Discord and I'll be talking to, in a given day, people from 20 different, 30 different countries all around the world, and issues will come up, things will happen in the space, people will have unfortunate events in their life, and everybody's kind of got a different perspective to give because they are a truly diverse community of people who care, right? So kind of that idea of being united by a single thing and coming in and sharing an experience that touches people in all different places around the world, I think that is really significant, this idea of community within Web3. And I think that does give us a chance to raise awareness and to promote social change, because we start to learn about other cultures, right? And we start to learn about other cultures in a way through something that we both care about, that we both like, that we both have in common. And I think some of those, we've been fortunate to get to travel all around, the world for some of these NFT conferences and parties and everything. And every single time we try to make it a point to see, is there anyone from our community in those places? Can we meet them? Can we learn about what makes them tick? And I've had, the ability to meet so many cool people through this journey, both part of the Satoshiverse community and outside of it. And I think that alone, speaks volumes to what we're actually trying to build here, because there's a lot of negativity too. And I think that, when I get asked, how do you combat that? It's a lot about, well, let's focus on the good stuff. And I think this is one of the good things that we definitely should be focused on. So I'll if Omniverse or Inder, if you guys want to add to this, please feel free. Otherwise, we can go forward. Oh, Omniverse, go ahead.
Yeah. So absolutely love the prior two answers. I wanted to expand a little bit on the theme of community. I mean, I think one of the things that I found so surprising and frankly enjoyable when I first got into the Web3 crypto space was the sense of community that the different, crypto projects had. I mean, everybody seemed, we're all kind of like pioneers and speculators. We're all kind of in this together. And just the sense of community that I noticed amongst the different projects was amazing. Like even in our group, I mean, we're getting to know each other on kind of a personal level. And to your point, Nick, I mean, some of these folks live like all the way around the world. And I think just having that, common connection is very valuable. And I think ultimately what we're all trying to do is kind of change the way that people interact with games and arts and entertainment and music and technology. And so, I don't know, having that kind of group of pioneers together to share ideas and see what works, see what doesn't work is very powerful, because then you can truly take it to kind of the next level where you're implementing things like education and other, other ideas into the mix. So.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's definitely a really good point, especially, I do these spaces now. We said we're on our 50th. That means we've done 50 of these things, and 3, 4, 5 guests per space from all around the world. You get to really truly meet some of the smartest people in the space and listen to them and hear about what they're building, which to me, having this weekly like poke up for air and get out of the bubble and talk to people who are doing awesome stuff in the space really helps me keep, eye on the prize on a bigger picture. And I think it's so important that we do that. And we're all fortunate to be able to do that. So definitely agree. Inder, did you have anything you wanted to add to this one?
No, all good. I think everyone covered some great points there.
Amazing. All right, cool. Then we're gonna jump to a individual question for Virtua. So you guys recently announced your new layer 1 blockchain called, I believe it's Venar, or Vayner, you can correct me. What advantages do you see for a gaming and metaverse project to have its own dedicated layer 1?
Yeah, for sure. And Vinar sounds perfect. So, but really is what we found, because we've been in the space for a long time. I think we were actually the first like Hollywood IP drop on OpenSea. We worked with Devin and the guys there real close when that was first starting back in like, oh gosh, 2019 maybe. And have worked with a variety of different partners and entertainment brands. And the one thing that we, have heard over the years is that they really need and want their own kind of bespoke experiences. They want to control their own customer journeys. They want to be able to add things like metaverses and other upsells in ways that work for them outside of what they're already doing with Virtua. And it's been real similar with our gaming partners, because they're being pushed to use chains that don't necessarily work for them and deal with associated friction on different layers or points and things they're trying to do. So we've really kind of addressed this with a lot of the technology that we've developed and kind of found 5 key points that we've identified that seem to be some of the 5 biggest issues for a variety of the different brands and companies that we work with. And those were their biggest issues that we kind of identified were confusing tools, high transaction costs or unpredictable transaction costs, fragmented marketplaces and brand journeys, and then friction using wallets. Another big point that a lot of them that we're hearing from a lot of these, especially the larger companies, is environmental concerns. They see a lot coming down the lines with environmental regulations, ESG standards, and things of the sort. And they want to make sure that they're compliant with what's to come, so they're not having to shift later down the road. For some of the smaller projects, smaller games, smaller companies, it's not as big of a deal to make those big shifts. But when you're a huge company, you've got a multi-trillion-dollar market cap, those kind of companies, a lot more goes into it, and there's a lot more moving pieces. So a lot of the current blockchain solutions kind of address certain elements, but not in a full holistic way. So we're really kind of like trying to change the technological approach, where there's not just not only a single point of infrastructure, but also brand solutions for them, while addressing those kind of 5 key areas that we've pointed out. And it's been going really well. Working hand in hand with a lot of these large companies and brands, we're able to identify their needs, identify their issues, and build to accommodate or solve those in a larger scale way.
Yeah, I really like that. And I kind of came in, when I got involved in the space from a more corporate background and was looking at the space through a very particular lens, I think. And it's been awesome to kind of hear the views of maximalists of whatever, project or coin or solution. But my view, like I think what you guys are building, is that there may not be a one size fits all solution for every corporation, for every project, for every game in the Web3 space. And I think, there are fundamentals that I think are important to kind of drive the solutions that we have. But I think at the end, we're we're building a variety of different solutions to different problems. So I think it's awesome that you guys are taking, an approach that focuses on the problems and tries to solve them. So really, really great to hear that. Let's jump over to Violet. This is an interesting question, and I think for me, I would think about it one way as a collector and having worked as with artists, but I'm really excited to hear your perspective on this as an artist and as part of a collective of artists. How do you feel digital ownership influences the way we perceive and value art in the crypto art space? So that aspect of actually being able to own it as something tangible, as an NFT.
That's a very hard question, and I thought for a very long time how to answer it. I actually think that it's very positive and beneficial to the provenance of the piece. As you know, in our collective, we are all physical artists, and some of us have extremely well-developed technical skills, and some of us do the animations and all of that techie stuff that I can't do with my brush. However, we value the digital ownership as it always, you can trace it. Like in the past, when artists sold only via galleries, traditional galleries, you gave it to the gallery. Sometimes you did not even connect with the new owner, with the buyer. And I feel that is changing in Web3. On top of digital ownership, the beneficial factors of Web3 is exposure for everybody. It's like everybody's got the same opportunities, and it's however they want to take it. And that's basically connected to digital ownership, to NFTs, to that phenomenon being created a few years back. Also, the fact that through Web3, we all connect, like kind of unusually. I met all of my collective guys. They are all traditional artists, but I met with them through Web3. And now we became friends, and we create together, and we travel a few times a year. To be honest, this year I've seen them more than I've seen my mother in the last 5 years. So, so we became very close knit, and we create together. Also, I met you guys now through Web3 as well. And now Peyote Ugly, the project that is our kind of art house baby, is on the skins in the game. It changes also how we view art. Art is no longer something that we put on the wall only. We surround ourselves with art. We can create different, digital assets with art, and it's associated with many more things. So we are kind of changing how we view art, how we experience art, how we create art. I feel that digital ownership has a lot to do with all those things. And I hope that people who are really experts in that are not going to judging me on my answer here.
No, I think your answer makes a ton of sense. I mean, I think from the artist perspective, it's so, important that you can convey something upon someone and they can have that piece of your journey. And I think from a collector's perspective, I've always felt that there's something special, not just about being able to collect a piece of art and display it, but to be part of the artist's journey, especially for lesser known artists, to support that artist directly, and to not only do that from a altruistic perspective, but to create an incentive system so that if you do support an artist, like in the physical world, and then you bolster them up and they become bigger and more popular and successful in their career, those collectors also stand to benefit from supporting and investing in that artist and in their art. And so it really gives a tangible way of doing that. And I think the collector's perspective starts to align with the artist's perspective on that. So I think it's a great way of describing it. All right, so changing themes a little bit, we have seen AI be in the front of the news in everything, and so I don't want to go too deep down a rabbit hole. But specifically, we're seeing all sorts of programs, all sorts of innovations around art, around these large language models, and around music. And so, Inder, I wanted to ask you, how can AI lower the barrier for music creation without sacrificing on quality?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, the thing with AI tools is they're just getting exponentially better, and the quality of the outputs are getting significantly better. So with music, generally speaking, they're pretty good right now. But you can, in principle, produce a world class song with a text prompt, and it will sound indistinguishable from a song made by a Grammy winning musician. And we've tried that scenario with the Chorus platform, where we've seen users can just generate music that most people can't differentiate whether it was made by AI or a skilled musician. So I think we've already kind of passed that point now to some extent, right? The quality level is going to be high regardless of whether you have any skill or not. I think really where the exciting opportunities are is how AI is going to push people to find new ways to express themselves, right? If the quality bar is going to be really good everywhere, I think it's just going to be how do people find new ways to express themselves, kind of bring new ideas to life that you haven't seen before. So yeah, I think right now we're still in the early stages of kind of seeing this explosion, but I mean, it's a really interesting one because with AI, like the aesthetic and outputs are just generally moving in a direction where everything looks so good. So I think we're still quite early. Like, how will people react to a proliferation of AI art in a year from now? No one really knows. I think will it just become too samey and humans will kind of search for something new and different, so I think it's going to be a really exciting time, but what we're excited about obviously is democratization, giving everyone the tools to be able to express themselves, and quality is obviously a very biased concept, right? Everyone's idea of what quality is personal, and I think that's also something that's important with music and art is very personal, and as long as people feel the connection with the thing that they first instance anyway. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting era, I think, where just because of how the technology is evolving, like the quality bar for everyone increases exponentially, which means we may end up reframing what we think quality even means a year or two from now.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. I think it's going to affect kind of both ends of the spectrum, from people like me who can't really play an instrument to any level to actually create real music, and certainly shouldn't ever sing on anything recorded. I can now go in and I love music. I would love to be able to create music. So that gives me an outlet to do it, but also to experts. I think every time, there's a new technology, like you said, you bring up that level, and the innovation is different, and what we're hearing is different, and it's not necessarily about who's the most technically sound, but who's the most creative, or who can do something different. So totally agree on that. I'm super excited about that intersection of AI and music, and I think it's going to be really cool to see. I think we've got some hurdles on the legal side, and just making sure that human work is protected, and that we're not stealing, and all that. And I think those will be issues that challenge us in the future in music and art. But to to not go down that rabbit hole, I'll stop there. Let's jump over to Engineered. So Omniverse is soon planning to integrate Omnia One, which is a player's on-chain profile and identity within the Omniverse. How important do you think digital identity is within the Web3 space, and what challenges are solved, do you think, by bringing it on chain?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite topics. Thank Nick. So let me go ahead and explain a little bit more about Omnia One, and then I'll do my best to answer your question there. So as you indicated, we're in the process of implementing our Omnia One system, and there's really three elements to that. One, as you indicated, the user profile, right? The on-chain data associated with that user, including their kind of tag name that they want to use across the ecosystem and all the different games, their scoreboards, how they've performed in these games, other ancillary information. This is going to really kind of pave the way for enabling a single sign-on process, right? So I alluded to earlier, one of the big challenges in onboarding non-crypto users is the learning curve, right? And just it's frankly speaking, it's a pain in the butt to get into Web3 games, into crypto. You have to, I don't know, go buy coins or tokens from a centralized exchange, put them into a wallet, go buy a project token, go buy an NFT, connect your wallet. It's a real pain, right? And in order to really capture this massive population of gamers, we need to get rid of all that and make a lot of the Web3 crypto aspects kind of invisible to the user. And so this Omnia One will enable us to tie all of that together very easily and seamlessly for our users. The third component really is access to exclusive content and features on the ecosystem itself, right? So there's going to be different tiers of Omnia One holders. Some of them may have access to different games, different communities, different assets, that sort of thing. Now, what is the benefit of kind of a digital identity? So I think on the blockchain, I think it's really many of the same factors that blockchain is beneficial for in other areas. It's the security, the privacy, the democratization, the efficiency of it, and really kind of being able to give complete control and ownership of an individual's identity back to that individual, rather than it existing on some centralized database that, I don't know, Steam owns, for example. You own it, you can update it, you can modify it. I think there's a number of different challenges associated with this. I mean, I think ultimately we see a world where I have so many logins and passwords. We ultimately see a world where you have a digital identity that is in the blockchain, and you use that to access. You don't access Gmail anymore. You access kind of a Web3 based messaging service. You use your Omnia One profile for the Omniverse ecosystem. So really kind of like simplifying how people interact with technology, right? And giving them that one identity. Now, with that obviously comes a number of challenges with, I don't know, cybersecurity regulations, again, kind of all the normal things that blockchain is working through. And then I think this is all for the purpose of kind of like how we see digital identity. I mean, I think you can take the discussion all over the place and consider, I don't know, is the country of Germany going to be using Omnia One as the way to kind of license their citizens? Probably not, but we're helping kind of pave the way for something like that, and really kind of explore, I don't know, the best way to go about doing this. So yeah, obvious benefits, obviously some challenges that we are working through, and we're frankly kind of happy to be paving the way and helping the world figure out how to do it.
No, absolutely, and it's such an interesting topic, right? Because we're spending more and more of our existence digitally, and that you're right. We've got a different identity potentially on every single app that we interact with, a different username. Really, no aggregation of those things, and I think there's both benefits and dangers to how we do that. So we do need to proceed cautiously, and like you said, there's a lot of downside things we need to consider, and a lot of, I think, real problems we need to solve, in terms of one person having a single digital identity, if that's important, right? If how that's used for things like voting, and we've seen with DAOs try to do it, and there's been some I think friction there, and so I think it's a really interesting concept. So I'm really excited to see how you guys continue to tackle that in the coming months and years as you're developing out everything. Let's open this back up to everybody. We're going to do a question now about the metaverse and gaming. How do you guys? So we've seen kind of, I think 2023 this year has been about AI, but before that, there seemed to be a little bit of a push for virtual reality that kind of cooled off. But it's starting to come back. We're starting to see some of the hardware for both AR and VR really make a comeback. We're starting to see some advancements in the space, particularly with AR. We're starting to see both prototypes and actual products that are releasing that have some really cool augmented reality components, and VR, of course, just every year something new comes out that's really cool. How do you guys envision the integration of virtual and augmented reality into the metaverse and Web3 gaming? Where do we go from here in this space? So feel free to raise your hand or just jump in. We can start with whoever wants to go on this one. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I'm just going to start blabbing. Go ahead, Virtua, and we'll go to Omniverse.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was gonna say I think as we're at a point right now where VR and XR and MR and some of these technologies are starting to become more and more common. I've got a VR headset here at the house that me and the kids play with. I never thought 20 years ago we'd ever have a VR in the house, and here we are today. And really, now I think we're at the point where they become more affordable. The tech in them becomes better as more and more people kind of start to enter that space, as more and more developers start developing their games and programs or platforms using some of this technology. You can see it with things like retail where, you have these, kind of XR or AR kind of technologies where you can try on the dress before you buy it, or you can see the furniture in your bedroom before you purchase it. I've seen hardware and home improvement stores where you can put up special cabinets or window treatments in a kind of an AR environment there within your own house, and using it and helping you with everyday, decisions, everyday, things you're doing. And I think the gaming side is quickly moving in that direction as well. I don't think that we'll ever have all games are only just VR, or AR, or XR, or whatever it may be. But I think it's going to be a new gaming category that grows quick. And VR is really missing that kind of banger game right now that gets everyone flocking into it and making every kid tell their parents at Christmas, I need an Oculus so I can play this game, that kind of thing. But I feel like we're really on the cusp, and there's a lot of really cool and exciting technologies and things being done with that. And the metaverse kind of plays in perfect with it, because you can have your kind of metaverse settings on a desktop environment in different ways, but you can take that experience into what it really its full experience of what it can be and what it should be by slapping on some of these VR goggles and fully immersing yourself into the game, the environment, the experience, whatever that may be. So I think we're at a really cool time, and we're starting to see a lot of that kind of technology being used in both education, gaming, and commerce.
100%. Yeah, I actually just saw the trailer for Assassin's Creed Nexus, which is their new VR game, which looks super, super cool. So I'm excited to get my VR headset on and try it out. But that's one that looks like it's pushing the limits on a VR game designed specifically for VR, which is at this point kind of a big risk for a studio just because there's so few people who have these headsets. But really excited that Ubisoft did that. Let's jump over to Violet, get your perspective on this.
Well, so my perspective is going to be, of course, from the perspective of an artist. So my husband, Trevor, has been working with AR in art since, I think, 2011, 2012. So it's kind of not a new thing for us, but it's improving, and it's a great way of adding a layer where you can extend your art from a still image into something in motion, and all of his artwork is augmented reality. I started doing that a few years back, and all of the artists in Art House as well use that option. One of our artists is Daniel Martin. He is experimenting a lot with VR and metaverse and kind of creating spaces where, imagine you go to a normal gallery or a museum, you've got sculptures and those sculptures never move. For images, you can use AR, but what do you do with to move sculptures? So he found a way, and follow him because he's got very incredible project coming in December. He's making dynamic sculptures and placing them in kind of metaverse galleries. I recommend following him because that might give you some idea of how to implement it in gaming or whatever you want to use it for, but he's using it very creatively. And I'm using a lot of VR for creating art and paintings and sculptures. But I have an old headset from like Oculus with Google Tilt Brush. However, the technology is progressing, and I was thinking, like, in terms of gaming, what if you had comfortable eyewear where you could have a game not so much in metaverse but in real life? If there were like some areas where you wear it and suddenly something is happening and you have to overcome the obstacles, and there are so many possibilities. I think the creatives are having these ideas already. We just need the tech to catch up, but there are so many ways that we can implement it, and it's the most exciting time to be alive and create. From the creative point of view, I'm psyched.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's really cool to see, what you and Trevor have done over the years with your paintings, and I think it's so cool what that turns into, as we expand the capabilities of AR. And then on the gaming side, we saw, Pokemon Go take the world by storm as an AR-based game, and I mean that was not even that immersive, honestly. People were on their phone, going around catching Pokemon, but it was, just you were on your phone. Imagine that, times 100 if you've got, real hardware that can make it truly immersive. I think that the sky's the limit for what AR is going to do for gaming and that blend.
You should do the Legionnaires, like that people collect Legionnaires around the world.
Yeah, AR is definitely part of our plans. I think it's there all the time, to do something really, really cool. And I think that's definitely something we're looking into, both AR and VR. I think that's the cool part about designing in 3D is that there's so many applications, and sometimes we're just waiting for the technology to catch up. I think with AR, we're going to see this boom, and it's going to be the only thing that anyone ever talks about because the tech's going to get there, and then you're going to see it everywhere. And so I think, that time is coming, and we're certainly getting ready for it. Anyone else want to? Oh, so I think Omniverse, you had jumped in before. So why don't we go to you?
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So I found the metaverse hype of, when was that, 2020, 2021, very interesting. It seemed like everybody was just expecting within a matter of months to be, I don't know, living in like a Ready Player One type world. And while I think we will get there, I think that hype was maybe a little bit premature. I think we've all been kind of discussing the theme of the technology still being developed, really. And I think that's truly the case. I think blockchain and Web3 gaming and all the infrastructure is really still, I don't know, evolving in parallel with that AR, VR technology. And so you need the tech, you need kind of it doesn't really necessarily have the user base. Meanwhile, we're still kind of figuring out the best way to implement Web3 gaming. Eventually there is going to be an intersection, and I mean AR VR is in our plans. We've started to toy around with it a little bit ourselves, and I think you really just need kind of the tech to progress and develop a little bit more and kind of get enough user base, and then we'll very likely see I don't know, VR games that are Web3 based, and I think so. I just got the new Assassin's Creed, and I've been playing that the last few days, and it's awesome. It's a completely different experience, and this really kind of goes back to one of my earlier statements that we're really looking to kind of change the way that people interact with games and arts and entertainment, and VR AR is yet another mechanism to really have a, I don't know, profound impact on how we do interact with these things. So very cool. I'm very excited about that tech.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to download that game and check it out. I usually get a little bit nauseous with my headset on, so that game I was like, oh man, all that jumping around and climbing and all that stuff might might be a little too much, but I'm definitely going to give it a go because it looks awesome. All right, so real quick before we go to the end and we wrap it up, I do want to announce the winners of our prizes for today. And so first, we're going to start with our Raise the Flag collectibles NFT. And that's going to be, a collectible NFT as part of the Satoshiverse collectibles collection. And the winner for that one is Kazuma. I think it's at Kazuma Ono. Please DM us and we'll get you all set up there. And then we're also giving away a 8Mo Army avatar, which is the bull that you might have seen in our tweets. So, for those of you who made it this long and are still around, the winner of that one is Bala Murugan. So it's at Bala_S84. So congratulations to both of you. Shoot us a DM. We'll get you your prizes. Really excited. I think we're going to, just being mindful of everybody's time. I want to wrap up there. Again, 50 episodes in, so grateful to everyone who continues to come and make this a success. You guys coming allows us to continue to get great partners and really interesting conversation on here. So thank you all that are coming live. I know a lot of people are going to listen to the recorded version of this, so thank you all as well. Big thank you to the speakers, not just in this case for coming on the spaces, but for being part of our launch initiative. We're super excited to welcome your communities into ours and hopefully get some of our community into all of your awesome projects and everything that you're building. And I really do think that's the spirit of the space. So please do follow and check out all of the guests here and what they're building, anything that's coming up. And I'll leave a couple minutes now in case there's anything you want to plug or say about stuff that's coming up. But thank you all so much for being on here. It's been a pleasure. Can't wait to keep doing this with all of you and see where this crazy space takes us. So I guess now if anyone wants to jump in, say any last word, feel free, and then we'll wrap things up. Go ahead, Violet.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to everyone who listened for the whole hour and my ramble as well. Just to remind you, on 28th of November on Maker's Place, there is a drop of Peyote Ugly Project NFTs coming with physicals, and it's a really fun story. So get familiar with that. You can visit peyoteugly.art and find out more about the project. Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely excited about that drop. Everyone do check it out. Anyone else?
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you again so much for the space. It was a really awesome space. Everyone down there, be sure to give all the speakers a follow. I hope you guys got some cool insights. I just also want to invite you all to a Twitter space that we will be having with Vinar Chain and Virtua. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. UTC, we'll be having that Twitter space with Google. So Google will be there with us doing a little AMA, talking Vinar and talking about some things we're working on together to push this entire space forward. So hope to see you all out there, and thank you so much again for this awesome space. We always love joining them.
Google. Yeah, just want to echo the other speakers. Thanks for having me again, Nick. Always a pleasure, and thanks for everybody who listened. And yeah, would love to have you come drop by omniverse.io or our Telegram group, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. And I was going to make a silly joke about not knowing what Google was, but I missed that opportunity. So yeah, definitely check out that Spaces, guys. Sound like it's going to be a good one. And again, check out all the projects on here. Very huge thank you to all of you. If Pixelinks, feel free to jump in if you want to say anything or if you got anything coming up. But otherwise, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you all. ton.
No, thank you for having us. Yeah, we've got a bunch of drops going live right now. So if you go check out play.chorus.co, you can check out the platform, create your first track if you haven't, and we're giving out rewards every week, and just building with the community. So if you love music, come check it out. But thank you for hosting this space. It was a real pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for joining. Excited to check it out. All right. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next week.